Okay, so yeah, we'll get started. So, throughout the history, actually, we hear about five chaste women. So, they are Pativrata Nari, and today we will be discussing about the glorious activities of Draupadi, who is one of them. So, you can ask, like, who are these five glorious women? So, there is one shloka which we can decide. So yeah, we will. These are the highlights. So we'll be discussing all these things today. And these five chaste women, they are called as Panchakanyas. And most of us would be aware of like these people because the our mothers they used to chant these shlokas earlier. Our mothers, grandmothers, basically they used to chant these shlokas earlier. So these five women, like when we chant their shloka daily, it is said that all our sins will get removed, and there is an additional benefit also. That additional benefit is that when we remember these five people, so these five people are Ahalya, Tara, Kunti, Draupadi, and finally Mandodari. So when we recite the shloka, and then when we well, when we try to remember them daily, then it is said that um, we will it there these personalities are so pure that it will also help us to purify ourselves daily, and also it will help us to follow this three dharma, like how in general men have varna and ashrama. That is, varna is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Ashrama is Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. These are the Varna and Ashrama. So we might not be like exactly knowing, but we would have all heard that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, four categories are there. So this is applicable for men in general, but for women, the most prominent thing that a woman has to follow is three dharma. So like we all know that we are in such a stage in Kali Yuga that as women, most of us don't know what exactly is Tri Dharma and what comes in it, what doesn't come in it. So we can take a separate session about it so that we will know more about it, and also we can request our seniors to take some session on it also. But for today, so we will be we'll be reciting this shloka mainly to mainly in a way that we can if possible learn them and recite them daily, so that we will as a woman we can purify ourselves, and also we can slowly learn about Stri Dharma and start following it in their footstep. And why is it needed? Because when we follow dharma, as along with that, when we do devotion intensely, then our going back to Krishna will be assured to a great extent. So the shloka goes like this: Ahalya Draupadi Kunti Tara Mandodari Tata Panchakanya Smari Nityam Mahapataka Nashanam. Can anybody read the translation? Any of you can read.
One should daily remember the five most chaste women, Ahalya, Draupadi, Kunti, Tara, and Mandodari. Remembering them destroys great sins.
Yes, so we know that day in, day out, we are committing so many sins, and in the past, also in our past lives, we don't know how much sins we have committed. Definitely, we have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is at most purifying. But this is another shloka which is an add-on to all of us women out there, so that we can learn these shlokas and recite them daily, so that we can remember these great chaste women, and we can follow their footsteps and make our life glorious. Um, so today, there is another version of this shloka where it is said that instead of Kunti, there is Mother Sita. Ahalya Draupadi Sita Tara Mandodari Tata Panchakanya Smari Nityam Mahapataka Nashanam. So there are two versions of the shloka we'll be seeing else everywhere, but we see that Mother Sati, she's the topmost chaste wife. So nonetheless, in both the variety version of shloka, we see there is Mother Draupadi. So we can we see that how transcendental and how chaste is Mother Draupadi. So today we'll be trying to understand the life of Draupadi. So to start with, to actually understand the transcendental life of these devotees who are very dear to Krishna, it is. Very, it's not at all that easy, because they are very transcendental, and their life story is very spiritual. So when we understand them in truth, like how Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita it is said that when we understand the life, the appearance and disappear appearance and life of Lord in truth, at that time we can we get the eligibility to go back. Similarly, when we understand the story of these personalities as it is, not the way the serial shows, not the way somewhere else we read, but as it is from the scriptures. And then when we understand their mood, intention, and the way of living, so we can one becomes eligible to go back to Godhead. So we will start with the Draupadi's pure appearance. We see that Draupadi, you all would be knowing Draupadi. She was not born from the mother's womb. She is called as Ionija because she was born from the fire actually. How the Drupada, he wanted son to take revenge against the guru. So at that time, um, the he did lot of austerities, and then finally they evoked Yagnya Kunda. So when from that Yagnya Kunda, he first Drishtadyumna came, and then finally Draupadi came. So we see that Draupadi, she emerged, she appeared right out of the sacrificial fire yagna. So even by common knowledge, we all know that fire is like at most purifying. We know like fire by its own nature is purifying. So what to speak of Yagnya Kunda? So it is like at most purifying. Uh, Now somebody is emerging out of that Yagnya Kunda, not just out of fire, but out of the sacrificial fire. So it is needless to say that she was immensely pure beyond any questions and doubts. And we also see that how the Leela was arranged in such a way that nobody, like she emerged out of the most purifying agent, that nobody could ever question her purity. So now, even nowadays, there are so many forums where Draupadi is being questioned, but we see from her appearance itself, she gives a very bold message that I'm emerging out of the most purifying agent, so how can you even question me? So there is no need of doubt or questioning here. And we also most of the questions comes wherein Draupadi, she married five men, so that's why also so many questions comes in picture. So we will discuss about it. So if we have to know more about Draupadi's past life, so Draupadi, there are two three instances of like cases that are mentioned in the scriptures, that Draupadi is a combination of five personalities. So who are these five personalities? They are Bharati Devi, who is the wife of the god of air. Who is god of air? God of air is Vayudev, like we all know. So she the deity of air is Mukhya Prana, that is the the Vayudev, who is who has incarnated in other yugas in various forms. In a recent yuga, he has incarnated in the Vayudev has incarnated in the form of Madhvacharya, and in the earlier yugas, like in Dwapar Yuga, Vayudev incarnated in the form of Bhima. So in this way, we see that Bharati Devi, who is the actual wife of the deity of Vayu, he she is one of them. Like Draupadi is a combination of five personalities. So Bharati Devi, who is the wife of Vayu, is one of them. And this Bharati Devi, it is also said that she is the deity for Vedic knowledge. So we might not have heard this fact. So it's also mentioned in this scriptures that Bharati Devi is the wife of Vedic knowledge. And knowledge, we see Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that nahi gnanena sadrisham in Bhagavad Gita 4.38. So I was like trying to find out what is the meaning of this like verse nahi gnanena sadrisham. In most of the like schools, especially in the school which I was studying, the school title, the heading was nahi gnanena sadrisham. That means there is nothing so sublime and pure as the transcendental knowledge. So we see in this way also, Bharati Devi, she's the incarnation of she's the deity of Vedic knowledge, which is like utmost sublimely pure. So when knowledge arises in our heart by the mercy of the Lord, then automatically we are purified of all the sins, because we know what is right, what is wrong. We stop committing all the sins. And what to speak of the deity of such Vedic knowledge, we cannot even imagine how pure she is. So, and it is said that how the knowledge is like an ornament for us, for anybody. So similarly, when she came out of the fire, it is said that she was fully ornamented. She was always like she didn't come in the form of a small baby, she came in the form of a youth. And that's why we see various names of Draupadi. When we see, she is also called as Ajara or Nitya Yovini, which means she came out as a youth and she was always youthful. And she is also called as Yajnaseni because she was born out of the the yagnic fire, basically the sacrificial fire. And you all know that she's called Draupadi because she's the daughter of Drupada. And she's also called as Krishna. So why? Because she is very beautiful. It said that at that point of time she was the most beautiful woman ever. And Krishna also because of her dark complexion. So we cannot even imagine that like dark and yet so beautiful, yet so effulgent, and so pure and so sublime. So that is our mother Draupadi. And she was always in bliss. No matter what would happen, she would be always in bliss, though externally she would appear distressed, but it is said that she was always attractive and always in bliss. That's why she was called as Krishna. And she's also called as Panchali because Panchala was the area where Drupada ruled. So that's why she is the daughter of the rulers over there. So that's why she's also called as Panchali. In this way, we see that Draupadi's appearance itself, it was so sublime. So I was mentioning about how five people were combined into one form, that is Draupadi. So one was Bharati Devi, and another one was the Dharmaraja, Yamaraj's wife, that is Shamala. So she was another one. The another one was the wife of Indra, and her name was Sachi. And finally, another one was Usha, and she was the wife of the Ashwini Kumaras. So in this way, we see like the Pandavas, who are the incarnations of these Vayu. Like who is the incarnation of Vayu? Bhima. And who is the incarnation of Dharmaraj? That is Yudhishthira. Who is the incarnation of Indra? That is Arjuna. Who is the incarnation of Ashwini Kumaras? That is Nakula and Sahadeva. So then we can say that how did all these personalities became into one? And I shared four personalities. So one is Bharati Devi, wife of Vayu. Another one is Shamala, wife of Dharmaraj. Wife Sachi, wife of Indra. And then Usha, wife of Ashwini Kumaras. The final one is Parvati Maya, who is the wife of Lord Shiva. So how did all these five people become into one? It is that when they were in Brahma Loka once, they wanted to play a prank against Brahma. So at that time, they together came as a single person because they were all demigoddesses. So they came as a single person and they played some prank against Brahma. And finally, Brahma cursed that yes, you should all go to the your earthly planets, and then you should live a life there, one life there. So at that time, all these personalities, they prayed to um, their they prayed to the Lord that if we go down, so we want to go with our husbands, not we cannot accept anybody else as our husband. That's why we see that all of these five, they came as a single person, Draupadi, and then they became the wife of all the Pandavas who are, and it is said that when we question her chastity, we see here that Acharya says that, so when Draupadi used to be with Yudhishthira, she used to only see Dharmaraj, and even Yudhishthira would only see his wife Shamala. So in this way, every single Pandava, they used to only see their wives, and even the demigoddesses, they used to see their husband. So in this way we see that even it is said that at every point of time, she would be with the Yudhishthira or Arjuna or anybody else, she used to pass through the sacrificial fire, and that way she would be and that way it would be what I say, she remained utmost chaste. And it is also mentioned that Draupadi Maya, um, how did Draupadi Swayamvara happen? So basically, Draupadi was so exalted because of her exceptional qualities. Her father, he arranged Swayamvara, so she could choose her own husband. And what was the condition that was put? So somebody has to see the reflection of the water and hit the eye of the fish. So finally, Arjuna, they were in the form of brahmanas at that time, brahmana beggars. So he came, he achieved it, and then she garlanded him, and finally she accepted him as her husband. And then when they went to Kunti, because they were in the form of brahmanas at that time, she thought that they had brought an arms. They told that, look what we have brought. So she thought that they have brought an arms, and she told that, okay, divide among yourselves. But here also we see that like how Kunti Maharani, when she saw that all the Kunti Maharani, when she saw that all the what they had brought was not arms, but it was Draupadi, and Draupadi had actually wished to marry Arjuna. So Kunti became very heartbroken, because as a woman, she also knows how it feels. So at that time, because Kunti was feeling so bad, uh, she started crying, weeping, and everywhere there was chaos. At that time, Vyasadev appeared in that assembly, and he revealed about Draupadi's previous birth. So, in Draupadi's previous birth, again, she had. She was a Brahman Putri. So in that, her father, he was also looking for a very good match for her. Her mother was not there. She had already left her body. So her father, looking he also spent a quite amount of time looking out for a good match, but he also, over a period of time, he also left his body. And then this Brahmani Putri, she did lot of penances to Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva appeared, and then she asked the boon that, I want somebody who is like very extremely beautiful, who's extremely righteous, that is with dharma, who is extremely powerful, like this. She asked like five boons, and at that time Lord Shiva said that all these five people cannot be in one, except Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is like who is the most opulent, who is the most powerful, most beautiful. So we can see, except Supreme Personality of Godhead, there was nobody else. So he gave her the boon that you will find them in five personalities. So that's why we see that when Vyasadev explained this to Kunti Maharani, again we see that she was destined to marry because when Kunti Maharani was convinced that yes, Draupadi was destined to marry five men in her this current life. So she was still okay. And we see Draupadi also did not protest when she was told to marry five husbands. This is again because Kunti Maharani, who was one of the topmost personalities at that point of time, she agreed. And then because Kunti Maharani agreed, and Vyasadev also shared the story, so then Pandavas also agreed. So in this way, she saw that superiors agreed, and she also got to know that because of her past, she had to lead a life in this way. So we see that throughout her life, even though she was married to five people, she was very chaste, and she very very sincerely served all five of them. So yeah, in this way, we see that how when we in general, when we point out that yes, Draupadi was married to five husbands, it was not so usual. So we can also know these previous stories, and these stories are mentioned in the Madhvacharya's commentary on Mahabharata. So there is a book available from Madhvacharya, it's a commentary written on Mahabharata by Madhvacharya. So in that book, so many questions about Draupadi, her chastity, her purity, and the way she lived her life. Everything is actually answered, and few of them are from the Puranas, like from the Mahabharata, uh, after the Mahabharat, a few questions came in about Draupadi. So at that point of time, again, few of the exalted acharyas, so they wrote some Puranas on this, because they knew that in future generation Kali Yuga, people will question each and everything. They will not question the good things, but they will always question the bad things. So that's when we see that all these are scriptured, and it is kept safe. But nobody wants to read these books these days. Nobody wants to read these commentaries these days. That's why it's all found hidden, and we keep on questioning and keep on finding faults. And okay, now when it comes to the Draupadi, the utmost thing, the highest thing which we can remember is her surrender to Lord Krishna. But we see that how uh, Draupadi was not just surrendered to Lord at the point of the Vastrapaharana, but she was always surrendered to the Lord actually. At every point of her life, she showed that surrender to the Lord, but it was exemplified and utmost shown when the Vastrapaharan happened. So we see that this famous pastimes of Vastrapaharan, where Dushasan, Yudhishthira, so he was gambling, and then finally he lost everything. He lost himself. Then Shakuni, he just forced him to goaded him to bet his wife Draupadi, and finally he did that. And when he lost that also, so at that time Karna and Dushasana, um, they went to Draupadi, and then they uh, because she was lost, so they the Dushasana told her that you no longer belong to your husband now. You are our property. We can deal with you like as we like. So she was forcefully dragged into the assembly, and she was and then Karna told that we should disrobe her. And then at that time we see, when all these things happened, one thing that inspired me is two things basically that inspired me is, first thing is, Draupadi, even though she saw that nobody was questioning this act of disturbing a woman, she um questioned. Draupadi was she was always living on the path of dharma. So she questioned everybody in that assembly, that how is it that Yudhishthira can put me into stake, because Yudhishthira had already lost himself. So she asked a very dharmic question, that if somebody loses himself, he cannot put his anything else. He's already a slave now, so he cannot put anything else into stake. So Draupadi questioned that how is that possible? Until then, we saw there were so many people in that assembly. Nobody questioned that you stop disrobing. But Draupadi, she stood herself, and she stood against. she stood for the dharma, and then she asked that question. And we will see that Bhishma also, like, nobody could answer that question, because everybody was were knowing that Draupadi is right. And finally, Bhishma was confused, because he was in the duality. Because it is said that there are two dharmas. One is, for a husband, the wife is always there no matter what. So if husband becomes a slave, husband becomes anything, the wife is always there. And second thing is, when it comes to slave, so the slave cannot like stake anything, put anything to stake. So there was two confusion. So that's when that's when the Bhishma could not even decide. And also Bhishma had his own like thing, because he was being favored by he was being favored by Duryodhana. And utmost importance that comes is, because like Lord's it was Lord's will that he wanted, via his devotee, he wanted to show the symptoms of utmost surrender. So that's why, like, we see that Bhishma also kept quiet. So finally we see that Draupadi Vastraparan has started happening. And we like she we see that Draupadi, when she saw that Vastraparan was happening, so initially she never begged her husbands, even though her husbands were there in the assembly. She never begged her husband, she never begged anybody else, she only questioned the dharma. And when she saw that dharma will surely help her, not now but sooner. When she saw that, she initially she tried to help herself. She wanted to save herself by holding the sari. And because what could she do, because after all she was a woman, and the Kauravas wanted to disrobe her. But soon after, she realized that nobody could help her except Krishna. And then she finally lifted both her hands, and then she called out to Krishna in utmost surrender. And she prayed that, Krishna, if you like, please save me. And then we saw, and then we always know that how Krishna gave her unlimited amount of sari, and then he saved her in that way. We also see that um, uh, in this regard, there are so many beautiful bhajans that is given, especially our Acharya Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He gives lot of bhajans on this topic called Sharanagati. So if you search Bhakti Vinod Thakur Sharanagati, so there are beautiful bhajans about how we have to surrender, what are the symptoms of surrender. And one such bhajan is, Manas deho geho yo kichu moor arpilu tua pade Nanda Kishora. So in this bhajan, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is singing that, oh Lord, what do I have in my possession? I just surrender unto you. I don't have anything. All this body, this mind, all the possessions, whatever I have, little whom, my husband, my children, my family, whatever I have, it's just because of you, and I completely surrender everything unto you. And we see that how Draupadi, she showed by her surrender that it's not that good to try to save oneself, but in every situation one should simply depend on Krishna. So Krishna, Rake Krishna mare Krishna Rake ke. Krishna, if you so will, please save me. And if Krishna can save, who can harm us? And if Krishna wants to kill, who can save us? We have seen in the past, in the scriptures, that if Krishna wanted to kill, nobody can save them. And if Krishna wanted to protect, even Prahlad was put into so many heinous situation, but nobody could even touch him. And similarly, Draupadi also, she was like that. So nobody could even touch her. Actually, again, in this Madhvacharya's commentaries, it is mentioned that Draupadi was so chaste, she was so powerful. Her Stri Dharma and Pativrata Dharma was so strong that just by her vision, she could burn all of them. But she knew that Lord's plan will. There is a Lord's plan. The that will soon unfold. That is, soon the Kurukshetra war will come, and Lord will give, like explain the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and soon the all the Kauravas will be vanquished. So she knew all these things. So she waited as a devotee of the Lord. She tolerated all these things, and she waited with patience. And we also see that how, um, like Draupadi. So in Madhvacharya's commentary, I was sharing that it is mentioned that Draupadi was the Draupadi which was pulled by Dushasana. It was not the actual Draupadi. It was a representative of the Draupadi. It was a another version of Draupadi, who was like how we know Maya Sita, like that. This was Maya Draupadi, who, and nobody could ever touch Draupadi. So what to speak about Dushasan? So it is mentioned that when Dushasan, after the disrobing, so they saw that immense cloth is giving. Even Dushasana is pulling a mountain heap of cloth is mentioned, and this cloth is so divine. It is so pure that everybody could see. I see in actually in movies and in serials and even in pictures, we see that we can see the picture where Draupadi has lifted her hand and Krishna is standing at one corner in the air, and he's supplying all the cloth. But it was not like that actually. In general, Krishna was definitely providing her the cloth, but it was not seen by others. It was like all these Kauravas or Pandavas, nobody could see that Krishna was helping her. It was Draupadi who only knew that she prayed to Krishna, and in next moment Krishna came and he provided her with utmost cloth. And this cloth was so divine that Duryodhana, even though he didn't know that Krishna provided, Lord provided him all this cloth, he saw that this cloth is so divine and was scared of this cloth also. So after the like all this disrobing chapter closed, so the Duryodhana asked Dushasana to keep these clothes aside. When Dushasana went to touch the cloth, the Draupadi, with her vision, she just burned that cloth into ashes. So we can see that her power, spiritual power was so high that she immediately burnt the cloth into ashes. So we can imagine, if they cannot touch her clothes, so we can see how can they even touch her. So in this way we can see that when one follows the dharma, especially for a woman, the stri dharma so purely, and do the devotion very intensely, we get so much power that uh, we can turn the bad situation into good. Definitely we see that in the Kali Yuga, all these like power are, we cannot definitely showcase these power, but we should always follow in the footsteps of these great uh, women who followed the Stri Dharma, who showed their utmost surrender and devotion to Krishna. And in that way, we can we can take shelter of Krishna in every possible situation. And de- and definitely Krishna will send help in one or the other way. And all of us would have experienced that in at least one time in our life, that Krishna has sent his help. And that's when we see that the more and more we follow their footsteps, the more and more we do devotion intensely, we see that like lot of miracles start happening in our life. Definitely, Draupadi, we cannot burn things in this Kali Yuga, but we see magical things happening in our life also. So in this way, we can see there is so when we say surrender, so it's definitely not something emotional. We cannot join emotions to surrender. Definitely emotion is one part amongst the surrender. So surrender, it just doesn't bluntly mean emotional sentiment. So for all of us who wants to surrender, so we need some practical measures, like what has to be followed to surrender. So this is the shloka that is given in the scriptures. Anukulyasya sankalpa prati pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati vishvaso guptrutve varanam tata atmanikshepakarpanye shridvida sharanagati. So six limbs of surrenders are given. What are the six limbs? So whatever is favorable for the devotion, we should accept it. So we got to know that something is not favorable. So something is bad for the devotion, so we should just, something is good for the devotion, like offering to the Lord and honoring the prasadam, chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So like this, whatever is favorable for the devotion, going to the temple, attending arti, all these things we have to do. Whatever is not favorable, like doing tamasic things, like alcohol, meat eating, all these things we have to reject, completely reject. So and then conviction that Krishna will give utmost protection. So every phase of life we should always have complete faith that Krishna will give the protection. Actually, that is the starting point where Krishna will start taking care of us. So if we have the doubt, Krishna will also never interfere, because he knows that um, we trust in something else, so Krishna will never interfere. And the acceptance of Lord as one's guardian or master, we should always know that Lord is our guardian. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, whatever is Lord has said, we should try to like follow that to the best of our ability. And then full surrender, like how it's mentioned that completely when we depend on Krishna's mercy, at that time Krishna will unfold his magic in our lives. And humility that we are so small yet Krishna is so big. We are not in control of the situation, yet Krishna is in control of every situation. So we should always remember this. And we know, like we discussed about this emblem of chastity, that how she was so chaste, that she in every personality she saw only her husband. And also we saw that how pure she was, that she emerged from the fire, and at every point of time she would emerge back into the she would go into the fire again and again to become pure. So in this way we see that there is no question that somebody can question her purity, or somebody can question her chastity. And she was the best among the devotees. So we see that like how I said, Draupadi, she was taking shelter of Krishna in all possible situations. And we see after gambling, actually Vidura advised Dhritarashtra that you see she's burned things into ashes, her cloth into ashes, she can burn your sons also if you don't please her. So you just better take care of her. So at that time Dhritarashtra asked her, like, you ask me for any boon. But she knew the Sri Dharma very well. A women, especially married women, can ask boon from only two people. One is Lord Hari, another one is husband. So she didn't ask anything for herself. She only asked that you just release my husbands. And that was like, whatever she did, that was also according to the Pativrata Dharma itself, that a woman can never see her wife, her husband bound. Even we saw how like Satyavan Savitri, we saw that Savitri, because of her chastity, she could release her husband from from the death. So in this way, like Draupadi, she even the boon that she had received, so she didn't use in her own, for her own benefits. She was always following the dharma. And that's why when we follow our dharma, and when we become intense in our devotion, when we surrender to Lord Krishna, we get extreme spiritual power. This was what Draupadi was exemplifying. And this picture, in this picture, actually the compassion and forgiving nature of the Draupadi is shown. So some of us know the story wherein Ashwatthama, who was the son of Dronacharya, he killed the five sons of Draupadi, thinking that they are Pandavas. So in this way, we see that how Pandavas. Pandavas were very angry, because first of all, Duryodhan, he wanted to please Duryodhan. Duryodhan was not at all happy because he killed Ashwatthama killed five sons. And Pandavas were extremely angry. So they they dragged him and brought him to the assembly. At that time, Bhima was saying that we should just kill them. But Draupadi said that um, no, like Draupadi was, she was so kind and compassionate that even though she saw that such heinous act was performed, she had the heart of a mother. So she always thought of the Ashwatthama's mother, who was Kripi. She thought that I have gone through this such like pain of losing the kids, so another mother should not go through this pain. So in this way, she told to the assembly that he's a son of Brahmana, especially he's the son of Dronacharya, who was their family guru. And at more than everything, he was the son of mother, Kripi. And she did not wanted Kripi to go through what she went through. So in this way, we see Vaishnava is a paradukka dukki, so she could never she always thought about what another Vaishnavi, especially another mother, felt. And this way she the punishment that was given to Ashwathama was, they just like shaved him half, and then they just left him half naked. In that way, they gave him the punishment of death, in a way that even in when he was living, he would still be in like a dead person roaming around, struggling for his own life. And we also see that how Draupadi, in her every phase of life, she showed patience, humility, and surrender to Krishna. So uh, so finally Draupadi, she goes back home to Godhead. So we see from this, we have a very important learning. So then we will just see the top learnings of Draupadi, and we will like discuss a couple of questions if you have, and then we will end. So Draupadi, how does she go back to Godhead? She sets a very very wonderful example to all of us. So after like how I said, she was an epitome of surrender. So she always trusted in Krishna's faith, and even though she had such power to destroy people, she waited patiently and tolerantly. She knew that Krishna had his plan, and she put Krishna's plan behind her plan. And she always took shelter of Krishna in every situation, like all other Pandavas. And after Krishna departed back to God, like his abode, so Pandavas also soon after, one after other, they meditated on the form of Lord, and in their own body, in the same body, they went back to Krishna. And like Draupadi, Pandavas, they didn't bother about Draupadi, but Draupadi, she was so spiritually, so well trained in spirituality, that she knew that Antya Kale cha mam evam smaran muktva kalevaram, that at the end of life, when we meditate on the form of Lord, when we remember the Lord, then only we can go back to Lord and serve Him eternally. And that is our supreme well wishing thing we can do to ourselves and our near and dear ones, because this material world is dukhalayam. So following the footstep of her husband, she also meditated on the form of the Lord, and in the same body she went back to Godhead. So the devatas who were there, they went back to the who were there, like the Bharati Devi, and uh, like um, um, Sachim, and other devis were there. So they went back to their abode, and the eternal form of Draupadi, who was an eternal associate of Lord, so she finally, in the same body, she went back to Godhead. So we see in this way, Draupadi is setting a very, very high example for all of us. So we see that she was so much compassionate, and yet she was she was she was not at all proud. She was always humble. So in the case of Ashwatthama, we saw that she knew dharma. Her compassion was not from it was not because of some emotional thing. She knew dharma. She knew that what she wanted was beyond revenge, and she took the path of grace. So in this way, we see that she showed that true strength is, it was not in taking revenge, but it was in showing compassion and forgiveness, and forgiving others. It is said that forgiving others is not a loss, but it's the highest form of spiritual victory. It's a actually victory. And we always see, like, how is it beneficial for us? We always, when we commit mistake, we want others to forgive, but we don't want to forgive others. So we can always remember this statement, that forgiveness is the topmost victory. It's not a loss, it's a victory. And from the life of Draupadi, we saw that she became very glorious because she forgave Ashwatthama. And we see resilience and patience. So at every step, when she was going through hardships during exile, when she lost her child, when she was publicly humiliated. So she never lost her compose. She always remained resilient, and she was having lot of patience. So like she waited patiently through 13 years, trusting the during the exile, trusting that Krishna had his own plan, and Krishna's plan is the best plan. So she was not disturbed, like in how in Bhagavad Gita it is said that 2.15, like we should not be disturbed by happiness and distress. We should remain steady in both. And Draupadi was an exemplary example. So by her example, she showed us that how remaining not becoming disturbing in all these ups and downs, how soon like she achieved the success. And we also see that how Draupadi showed she always followed dharma, like how I said, even in the most difficult situation she stood for the dharma and she asked questions, and she was doing that at every point of life, and that's why she became spiritually powerful. So we should also try to figure out what Sri Dharma is, follow that along with intense devotion. We should follow this Sri Dharma so that we can become spiritually powerful, and soon we can take shelter of God and go back to Krishna. And we saw her humility, that she was a like daughter of a king, but she served her husbands with humility. She went to the like she never hesitated to go to the exile, and in exile also so many rishi munis would come. She would serve them extremely in a very very humble form. So we also learn from Draupadi the utmost humility, and finally the unwavering like faith, complete faith she had on Krishna's protection. And she at every point of time she saw that like by bhakti, how bhakti is a strength and it is our shelter. And by the from the Vastrapaharan incident, she showed that when all the human support fails, it is surrendering to divine that can help us. That too, that surrender should not be duplicit, that surrender should be sincere. So Krishna also said that when you surrender sincerely, I will protect you. So in this way we saw that at every point of her life, she was an exemplary Vaishnavi, and she was teaching so many things to us. So in this way we saw that Draupadi's life was filled with difficulties and yet filled with so many learnings. So we will end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Madhvacharya and other acharyas who have given us these commentaries and other teachings from the acharyas, because of which we can actually see a version of these Vedic women apart from the serial version, the WhatsApp version, the YouTube version, which we are seeing in general. So so yeah so the lives of these women are filled filled with learnings. And yeah, my humble request is to take one learning from every Vaishnavi, every Vedic woman that we discuss. And yeah, we can if you have some questions, we can discuss those questions.